Good morning, everybody. It's your boy D Mac. Let's talk. So, have y'all seen the Purge? You know, there's been what, three or four movies in the series so far, and the Purge, basically the premise is this: the government said that people need to let off some steam, and they need one day in particular where they can go out and just exact all of the violence and get all of that stuff out of their system. But they can't attack the government. That was the only stipulation. But anybody else was fair game. And so that's where the whole concept came, where these people would go out in mobs or they would go out by themselves and commit these heinous, violent murders against other people who they had issue with or whatever company or something like that. So that's the premise. So, I was talking to a buddy, shout out Steve Harris, and he was talking about the purge and how it seems like we're being conditioned for a purge. And I was like, wow, I was kind of taken back by the whole concept. But then as he started to explain a couple of things, I was like, you know what? Man, I hope you're wrong, but you sound like you're closer to being right than wrong concerning this. And so I just wanted to go over a few things, man, that stood out to me as I started to go down this rabbit hole that he pointed me into. And this is what I came up with. Okay, so you take January the 6th. Whenever we had the mob to go to the Capitol and to commit the insurrection that they did, that was just a test trial. That was to see, first and foremost, how many people could be influenced to go and do such a thing, and how much influence would it take to get them to go do it. So we see that in large numbers, we had people to come out with the suggestion of hey, what's going on, X? How you doing, man? Glad to see you here. But yeah, you had people to go out in large numbers, and they actually did what was suggested to them to destroy the Capitol and to try to. Some of them had plans to kidnap some Congress people and all of this crazy stuff that was going on. This sounds like purge mentality to me. This is purge behavior that we're seeing. All of these protests and things that are going on. We know that in every movement that you have agents that are being placed inside of the movement to commit certain acts to bring down the credibility of that movement. We understand that very well. And so when we have these protests and things like this going on, some of the acts that we see taking place are done by people who are not representative of the group that is protesting. So let's understand that. So a lot of times when we see these attacks and we see these different things like the Kyle Rittenhouse situation, a lot of these people were there for their own personal reasons. They weren't there for Mr. Blake, who was shot by the police. I had a conversation with somebody and they didn't even really know the reason for the protest. They were so adamant about Kyle Rittenhouse and so focused on Kyle Rittenhouse and what happened with that situation that they lost total sight of what the whole entire protest was over, and that was police brutality. And I feel like that was done on purpose, but that's just getting kind of off of my subject. Now let's get back to what I was saying. Now, when you have these people with this type of mentality who are all amped up, they don't have nothing else to do but sit home all day and get amped up about politics and about the way the world is compared to how it used to be when they were growing up. These people are easily influenced. These are the same people that Donald Trump was able to get a hold of, and that's his core of voters, was those people with low intelligence, low education, who don't have an understanding of what's really going on, and they're really susceptible to grab onto a talking point and just run with it. What's my man named Gordon Klepper? He's so awesome at exposing that, and he's went out, and we have tape, hours and hours of tape of him talking to these people and just to see where their mind is and what their level of understanding is. And they had absolutely no understanding. They had was anger and emotions and their tradition. And that's what they fed into, and that's what the conservatives fed to them. and they continue to feed this to them. You have the guys like Matt Gates, who's in a whole lot of trouble for being a alleged predator. You have Jim Jordan. He's also in trouble for being an alleged predator, or not being a predator, but knowing about the predators, but turning a blind eye to what was taking place. So we have these questionable people. Then you have Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a complete psychopath by every meaning of the word. She is absolutely a psychopath, and for her to still be running around spitting this toxic rhetoric that she's spitting, we see what the end game is. They want to get everybody riled up. They want to get everybody um, amped up enough to go on this purge. And who are they going to purge the world of? Well, we see, based on Donald Trump's rhetoric, we had an incident to happen down here in El Paso, and it was all because of Donald Trump's rhetoric. He was talking about our Hispanic brothers and sisters, and he was discrediting them and demonizing them to the point to where you had some fanatics here who thought it was a good idea to go on a purge. Yeah, these mass shootings that we have going on all the time, it's nothing but a purge, single man purge. That's what it is. And this rhetoric is being pushed by the right. Is being pushed all day, every day by the Tucker Carlsons. Sean Hannity's kind of quieted down a little bit, but that's because he has legal issues that he's dealing with. But all of these other people on the right who are steadily pushing this rhetoric and this narrative is conditioning their people for a purge. We already see the conversations. We already see what the Proud Boys are talking about. We already see what all of these white nationalist groups are saying and doing, and they're plotting, and they have their own little website that they tried to have up, but then a lot of people went over there and started to troll their website, and so it had to come down. Now, how a white supremacist group could get a website to push that narrative of hate, I don't know, especially with the so-called strict guidelines that we have for violent conversation and rhetoric and narratives to be pushed on social media. So how that came about, we know how it came about because it's those higher ups. The KKK just turned in their robes and their hoods for uniforms and suits. That's exactly what happened. And so when we have these people in these high positions who are in the position to give people a platform to push this rhetoric, then this is what you're going to have. You're going to have a slowly developing purge groups. The purge mentality is growing on a regular basis. Just the other day, and I was trying to look it up because I saw it and I read through it and I saw the video for it, but then I kind of glossed over it. Today, I went back to look for this video. I can't find it nowhere. I try to use keywords to pull it up, but you can't find it nowhere. They took it down because there was a politician, I believe he was a governor. He was standing up there with some, I guess, ex-military guys, and they had a rifle. And they were talking about that rifle, and what that politician said, that right-wing Republican politician said, was this: well, they need to point this at the White House, or this need to be aimed at the White House. And the people cheered. The people cheered at a gun being aimed at the White House because they don't like the administration that's in office now. Okay, there was a lot of people who hated the last administration, but did they threaten with violence? Did they go out and do all of these things that's taking place? No, not at all. Not on the scale of the right wing. We have all of these mass shootings, all of these crazy things taking place, and it's being fueled by the right with all of this crazy rhetoric that they're pushing intentionally to get people angry enough to go out and actually commit violent acts towards each other. That's where we're at. We're going into a purge. Are you going to be prepared? Because people are going to come after you for your views, for your perspective, for your party, whatever party you're in. All of these things are being fueled right now by these people, and we have to take into consideration that at some point it's going to come down to us. It always rolls downhill. Crap rolls downhill. We know that very well. And so as these people go out and they demonize, they're going to make you less human, so that whenever they start to kill, then people are not going to have an issue with it. We see it right now with the police brutality against black people. That's exactly what they've done all these years, is condition everybody that we are of less value. So it's easier for them to kill us, and nobody's going to feel any type of way about it because they don't see any value in us in the first place. And so with that being said, you look at the non-vaccinated people, you have this governor, the governor of Alabama, who's went on record as saying that the reason that we have this new variant popping up is because of the people who didn't get vaccinated, which is not true at all, because a variant, which the Delta strand is just a mutation of the original virus. Okay, so if somebody out here is vaccinated and they can still get the virus after they've been vaccinated, how do we know that that's not what caused the mutation and created a new strand? Especially with the Johnson and Johnson vaccine, that has it's been proven to have side effects that can cause some major medical issues. So if that's the case, how do we know that this D variant, this Delta variant, didn't come from one of those vaccines? Because we know that those vaccines have not been FDA approved. They haven't. That's the truth of the matter. They've been approved for emergency authorization, but they have not been approved. And the way I think it was Moderna and Pfizer said that they probably won't get an official approval until 2022. So this vaccine that they're taking right now is not approved. Yeah, so that's why you have DeAndre Hopkins saying that I will quit football and walk away from the games that I love if you try to force me to take something that has not been approved by the FDA other than for emergency authorization. It's very sickening where we are right now, America. We are in a purge mentality, and it's being fueled by the right wingers. So I have nothing against them personally. But this rhetoric that you're pushing now, and where you're taking our country as far as division wise, we're going to end up having a purge. We already have small purges right now. We just call them mass shootings, but let's call it what it is. It's a purge, because these people, whenever we finish doing the investigation, we always find out that it's something related with ethnicity or race or something like that's being fueled by the right. You know, Democrats, they are just as racist. I'll give that to you, but they don't push the rhetoric. They don't push the narrative. So this is just my observation. Y'all better keep your eyes open. Pay attention to detail and everything that's going on around you, because there's no telling when a person is going to get in that purge mindset and come out and think that he has every right and justification to shoot people like Dylan Roof. Okay. all of these all of these purge incidents come from a rhetoric that is being pushed into the minds of these people who don't have the level of intellect to separate fact from fiction. They'll take whatever feels good and whatever supports their beliefs, and they'll run with it instead of finding out what is the truth and correcting their misinformation that's being given. So I just want people to understand where we're at as a country right now. It's sad to say that we're here, but we are in a purge. So watch your back, watch your family's back, and watch the people that are around you, because you never know who's got a mindset to do what. That's all I want to say. I don't want to scare anybody, but I do want to make people aware because I'm very hyper vigilant. That's what we did as soldiers, and I'm gonna stay that way. But like I said, man, sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you.